won't back down. Hey, baby, there ain't no easy way out.
We've all seen how quickly life can change. The outcome of a single event can impact our entire nation. Now more than ever, it's crucial to be prepared. Don't wait until it's too late. Protect your family with ReadyWise emergency food. With ReadyWise emergency food, you're covered not just for the worst, but for anything life throws your way. Enjoy peace of mind knowing you have delicious, nutritious meals ready when your family needs them. ReadyWise has a huge selection of freeze-dried meals from breakfast to pasta dishes. You can be assured your food will be good to eat when you need it with their 25-year shelf life. ReadyWise is an American company that cares about its fellow citizens, you, and is committed to your safety. Visit ReadyWise.com and use promo code TRUMP20 at checkout for 20% off any regular priced items. That's ReadyWise.com, promo code TRUMP20. Hey everybody, thanks so much for joining us right here on The Right View Ladies Tea. Tonight we are joined by one of our faves, political commentator Mehek Cooke, and new to the show, former Pink Power Ranger herself, Jessica Ray. Mehek and Jessica, thank you for joining us. Jessica, that's right, for folks who don't know out there, you once upon a time were the Pink Power Ranger. So we're really excited that you're on our team, because I'll tell you what, we like pink on our team. We like ladies on the team. And the three of us, along with some other lovely ladies, were just in the state of Georgia. We had a great stop. We feel really good there, but we got to keep our foot on the gas. We know that because we are just days away from making Donald Trump the 47th president. I'll tell you one of the things, Mehek, that I really enjoyed was Donald Trump on Joe Rogan. Here's something that apparently Rogan has actually asked for Kamala Harris to come on before and said the offer is extended to you as well. I did not watch, I'll be honest, all 3 hours of it, but Donald Trump stayed for 3 full hours. And I think he was planning on like an hour, maybe an hour and a half. But I guess they were just having such great conversation that it continued. And I'm trying to think about, Mehek, what if Kamala Harris had to sit there in the hot seat across from Joe Rogan and really have a conversation about real issues with him? We have seen how she's floundered and failed at almost every turn possible. And the only real interview she did, of course, was that Bret Baier interview where she had people in the background going like, wrap it up, time to go. I absolutely loved the Donald Trump interview because it shows a side of him that I think most people don't get to see. Once you have this long form, you get to see that there's a human being inside. He's funny, he's charismatic, he's thoughtful, he's all the things that the left says he's not. How did you feel about the full 3 hours of the Joe Rogan interview with Donald Trump, Mehek?
Laura, I think you nailed it. President Trump knows how to do something that Kamala Harris just doesn't. It's simple. It's the power of connection. And that's exactly where President Trump was. He was able to take Joe Rogan from the day he started in the White House through his administration and also show humility. Did you like the answer when Joe Rogan said, what would you do differently? And President Trump actually had an answer. Kamala Harris can't do softball interviews from The View to MSNBC to CNN. She can't answer a single thing she would do differently. But President Trump was able to actually look within and say, I would have made different decisions on hiring, because as we know, hiring is the key to success in any administration. Look at Mayorkas right now. The open borders are standing next to Kamala Harris. So President Trump knew where some of the deficiencies were and where he's going to ensure that he has greatness. It all starts with opportunities and not DEI hires. So Joe Rogan was able to nail down every single answer and dig deep and make the American people, including me, laugh.
He'll do that. Jessica, that's the thing people don't realize about Donald Trump. He's one of the funniest people I've ever met. When people ask me, I'm often asked about this in interviews, like, tell us something about Donald Trump we wouldn't expect. I'm like, he's really funny. He's one of the greatest storytellers. If you go to dinner with Donald Trump, get ready to be entertained, because that's exactly what you'll get for the entirety of the dinner. What was interesting to me, Jessica, is kind of seeing the response on maybe on both sides of the aisle, but certainly from the independents, because we know you win elections with people in the middle, people who are not, lifelong Democrats or Republicans. They don't vote down ticket all the same way. They make their decision in the moment based on the candidates. And what I was reading actually was a person who said, I spoke to someone who was an independent who wasn't actually planning to vote for Donald Trump, But after watching that interview, that this person apparently changed his or her mind, or their mind. What? Let's see who they are out there, right? We have to do that for the Democrats, just to make everybody comfortable. We have a lot of Democrat fans who watch this show. But I thought that was really cool because that's the whole point. Like, we're not in a time in America where you have to do things the traditional way in a campaign. And this is the way that I think Donald Trump has been really successful reaching people. It's through these podcasts and these, I mean, it's not a traditional thing to do for a politician to go on Joe Rogan for 3 hours, but he did it. And I would argue that that is going to be the thing that really connects him with the American people and reminds them, as I was just saying to Mehek, that this is a human being at the end of the day.
I absolutely agree with you, Lara. I actually watched all 3 hours.
Did you watch it all? Wow.
And
you might be asked to be his daughter-in-law. He might disown me, Jessica.
I loved every second of it. I mean, it really showed that he is very much a real person, and he is hilarious. He's funny. I laughed. You mentioned that we were here in Georgia the other day, us pink ladies, and I posted for the first time on my social media that I am a Trump supporter. And it was a little bit scary for me to do that. But it's like 99% overwhelmingly in support of President Trump. And then I even had a bunch of people anonymously, send me DMs and say, I'm too scared to write this on your post, but I'm with you. I support you. And a lot of people who said that they originally didn't like him, that they weren't planning on voting him. But Kamala Harris's interviews, her town halls, all these things are making them think, no, I can't vote for her. She's weak. I don't want that person negotiating with other strong leaders, of other countries. She is an empty vessel. She has nothing to say. She offers no policies. And, we don't want that. We don't want that leading our country.
Yeah, it's so cool that you're comfortable enough now to come out and not just campaign with us, but post about it on social media. Thank you for doing that. I think we talk when we've been out, like on our bus tour and the Pink Lady tour, about courage being contagious. And I think that's a real thing. And when you see one person maybe walking down the street with a red MAGA hat on, you might be a little more inclined to wear yours. And I think that there has been this courage that really, there are so many people right now for the first time finding themselves having this courage because our country is literally on the line. And so I love to hear that. When you talk about a different campaign, I think that Donald Trump certainly has done that. He had the McDonald's stop, so much fun, a couple weekends ago. And he also, of course, tears it up at Madison Square Garden, fills to the brim. I think we had 200,000 people RSVP for that rally. Absolutely epic. But one of the things that got me over the weekend was Beyonce, of course, announced. Remember when they announced at the DNC, Mehek, that Beyonce was going to show up and perform? They leaked it. They didn't really confirm it. They just teased it out there to try and get people to fill the place up for when Kamala Harris accepted the nomination that she didn't earn for the Democrats nominee. Remember that?
Yes, I do.
Beyonce didn't show, and everybody was like, where's Beyonce? What happened? Where is she? Well, they kind of did another bait and switch with people over the weekend because Kamala Harris found herself in Houston, Texas. And I don't know why the heck she would bother going there, but whatever you want to do with your campaign funds, that's your business. She went to Houston, and Beyonce was advertised, big league. She was going to come out. It was going to be a great show. She didn't sing a single note, Mehek. She didn't say anything, or she didn't sing anything. All she did was say things to people and tell them that she's a mom and basically she's an advocate for abortion, which I can't really square the two. If I were a Democrat, I think that I would probably feel pretty disenchanted with this party. You've had Kamala Harris lying to you for 3.5 years about Joe Biden's fitness for president. They did the old tease and then lied to you about it at the DNC, that Beyonce was going to be there. Then they said, oh, wait, come on out for the Beyonce concert. Then she didn't even come out on stage and sing. But it's sort of the perfect way to explain the Democrat Party right now. Beyonce was promised and nothing was delivered by way of any song or any notes being played or sung. at this event, and it's kind of like it's analogous for the entire Democrat Party as far as I'm concerned.
It really is. Look, these Hollywood elites aren't really going to change or move the needle at this point. So to trot out Beyonce to say she's coming, maybe a lot of people did come to hear her sing, but when she opened her mouth, and I just lost it, and she said, as a mother, I'm supporting Kamala Harris because I'm worried about abortion. My jaw dropped. You're in Houston, Texas, ma'am, and you're not thinking about Jocelyn, the young girl that was murdered, or her family. You're not thinking about that open border crisis. You're not thinking about the 15,000 illegal immigrants that have committed crimes and murdered people. They're walking our streets today. As a mother, that is your tagline. You're not thinking about America's future generation. You're not thinking about other people's children. You're only talking about abortion. And I'll tell you, it was political suicide to go to Texas, because what they're trying to do right now, Laura, is not try to beat Donald Trump. They're trying to take down Ted Cruz because they know they're losing the presidential race and they have to secure some of these Senate seats so they can stop President Trump in the White House. But mark my words, between executive orders, great administrators that he's going to put to execute and make sure that we have policies that deliver justice and equality for so many people that are struggling today. This did nothing to move the needle. If anything, it truly irked Democrats and mothers today as they sat back and said, not on my watch. I'm voting against you, Kamala, and every single Democrat.
It's kind of just gross, Jessica, at this point. It's just all kind of gross. They throw the celebrities in people's faces like we don't know what you're doing with that. It's just I don't know that it makes a difference. I want to ask you though, Jessica, you obviously I mentioned at the top of the show, you were once upon a time a part of the Power Rangers team. And you existed in kind of that Hollywood space, I imagine, for a while. You lived in California. I think I remember you saying the other day when you kind of told us all your story.
All my life, yeah.
Yeah. So what do you make of this? Like, do you think that this actually moves anybody to have these big celebrity endorsements? And I would often, I wonder to myself, you know, the people in Hollywood who really do want to come out and support Donald Trump, there really are a lot of them. The truth is they're scared to do it because they're afraid they're not going to get booked on any more movies. They're going to lose work. It's going to be a problem for them. That's pretty much the way of things in Hollywood still today. And it's really sad to me, Jessica. But what do you make of all of this with Beyonce, with all the celebrities, like throwing them out there? They did the thing when we were in Georgia that day. Remember, Obama was there, Bruce Springsteen, Spike Lee was there. There was a whole crew of people who Kamala rolled in to try and help boost her up. And I just kind of think it makes them look even worse, to be honest.
Listen, they are grasping at straws because they have nothing else to offer. They name call and then they bring out these celebrities to support them and post for them on social media. But what gives me hope when I see this is the comment section.
I love a good comment section.
Yeah. And like someone, you know, some celebrity will go and post and then they're all in, like they're all in. And then you look at the comment section and every single comment is saying, I don't care who you're voting for. You are rich and famous and out of touch with the struggles that we Americans, you know, have been dealing with for the past 4 years. So please keep your views to yourself. We don't care. And it just seems so fake, like as if they're getting paid to do this or something, because they don't seem emotionally all in. It almost seems like they're being forced to post these things. It's very strange. And then the comments are just, they make me laugh and they give me hope.
Yeah, I agree with you. I always go to a comment section. Two of my favorites are the White House Instagram page comments. Every time they post something, I'm like, let me just get in here and see what they're saying. None of them are good. And I'm always like, I wonder if this is some algorithm on my phone that it's only allowing me to see the things I want to see. And then I go to other posts. I'm like, nope, this is just what people post. And it's so obvious where the bulk of the country is right now. The other one that I find really fascinating and quite frankly, just disgraceful is Vogue. So I started following Vogue ages ago. Why? Why does anybody follow Vogue, Mehek? It's for style, for fashion, for all those sorts of things. They have become so entrenched in politics. I honestly only continue to follow them just to see how outrageous they're going to get with their posts and how blatantly obvious. They're not even hiding it. They're all in for the Democrats, all in for Kamala Harris. Every day of the DNC, by the way, they did like a rundown of the DNC fashion and the icons who were there and this, that, and the other. And look at this person's look. Did you see any of them post anything for our convention, for the RNC? I didn't think so. They are so blatant with their bias. And I go to that comment section. I'll tell you, so many people are like, stop with the politics. This is gross. Nobody wants this. We're here for fashion. They really cannot help themselves. Something that I think was interesting, a guy named Dean Phillips, you may remember him. He tried to run and primary Joe Biden back, I don't know, about a year ago or so, because he said, you know what? I think we ought to give Democrat voters another option. He's a congressman, Democrat congressman. He said, I think we should give Democrats better options than Joe Biden. You know, this guy doesn't seem like he's going to be able to do this, get through the whole campaign, run against someone like Donald Trump. So he tried to primary him, and the Democrats shut him down, Mehek. They said, we're not going to allow you to primary Joe Biden. Joe Biden's fine. There's nothing wrong with him. Remember those days? And Dean Phillips sort of came out recently and, you know, was criticizing Kamala Harris's campaign. I can't imagine, by the way, how irritated that guy is. Probably the same as RFK Jr., because they did the same thing to him. They used lawfare to keep him off ballots and all those things. He basically said, when you spend more time bashing your opponent than actually offering your policies and your vision for America to the people of this country, that means your campaign is losing. And I'm going to have to say that I fully agree with him. And I think if you listen to what Kamala Harris says in almost every interview, the Bret Baier interview I just referenced, that CNN town hall that she did with Anderson Cooper last week, which was terrible, just absolutely terrible, calling Donald Trump a fascist. She still talks about eliminating the filibuster. And obviously she gave no specifics at all in terms of policy and just really talked nonstop about what a bad person Donald Trump was. Heck, I don't think that's going to move people. I think people want hope. They want vision. They want the joy that that campaign supposedly was going to have. But I find that that's really what she's running on. It's an anti-Trump race versus a pro-Kamala Harris race that she's running. Okay, you've heard me talk about sleep cream the last several weeks. Sleep is one of, if not the most important element in being able to function day to day. And most of us, including me, do not get enough quality sleep with the amount of daily stress or insane schedules that we're all keeping. Here's what I found to help me sleep better. Sleep cream. It's not a drug. It's not a prescription. It's a cream. I just rub it on when I'm ready to turn in for the night. And within a few minutes, it helps me relax and allows my body to do what it is supposed to do, sleep. Take my word, I am sleeping great when I have time for it. Sleep cream is all natural CBD with essential oils and a great lavender scent that I can't recommend enough. Try sleep cream for a couple of nights and see if it works for you as well as it did for me. If you don't sleep better from using it, sleep cream will refund your purchase and you don't even have to return it. Totally risk-free. Go to sleepcream.com. That's sleepcream.com. Sleep, CREME.com. And as a bonus, use code November24 at checkout to save $24 off your first order. That's November24, all one word, at checkout. Get your best sleep ever with Sleep Cream at sleepcream.com. FDN firefighter Daniel Foley assisted in rescue and recovery efforts at Ground Zero. But Daniel couldn't have known then that his heroism would cost him his life more than 18 years later. His death, like so many others, resulted from 9/11 related illnesses caused by the toxic dust that formed when the Twin Towers collapsed. Victims and first responders are still suffering and dying from 9/11. Yet children in this nation are growing up unaware of America's darkest day. The Tunnel to Towers 9/11 Institute is helping educators teach children about 9/11. Tunnel to Towers 9/11 curriculum units have scripted lessons, background for teachers, and activities for students. They're based on first-person accounts and designed to meet many academic standards. The 9/11 Institute offers the Discovering Heroes book series, a speakers bureau, a mobile exhibit, with 9/11 artifacts and memorial scholarships for the children of the foundation's program recipients. Help our nation keep its promise to never forget. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at t2t.org. That's the number 2t.org.
Well, Laura, she doesn't have a record to run on, and her closing argument truly is that President Trump is a fascist. But I challenge her. What's the definition of fascism? I guarantee you most Americans can't tell you what the definition is. But what I can tell you is that she is turning every single Democrat independent voter against her because she can't answer simple questions like, what would you do differently and how you're going to make my life better in the next 4 years? She also said in an MSNBC interview that the American dream is dead. Hold on. We want the American dream. We want to achieve prosperity and greatness in this country. We want to stop paying 22% for our groceries. Gas is up 38%. I mean, look at the price of eggs today. We can't afford our basic necessities. We have an open border crisis. And Kamala Harris is saying the American dream is dead and it's Donald Trump's fault while she's vice president. We are leaving. Many people are leaving and scratching their heads today and saying, how did she get there? Let's remember. She was anointed. This is a DE&I hire, and this is why people continue to turn their backs on Kamala Harris. Many Democrats today that were traditional Democrats, Blacks, Hispanics, Asian Americans are saying, we don't want 4 more years because she doesn't know how to critically think. Remember, Laura, she said, I can't think of anything. She truly can't think. She told the American people everything we needed to say. I can't think, period. End of story. Kamala's done.
She sort of just does it for us, Jessica, sometimes. We don't even really have to do that much. Mark Halperin is a journalist who I would just go ahead and say no big fan of Donald Trump's. He I saw something online where he polled a bunch of people. He had like all the little boxes. I think there were like 8 people he had in this sort of Q&A session he was doing. And he specifically asked these voters, these are supposed to be independent voters. He said, is Kamala Harris calling Donald Trump a fascist and Hitler and those sorts of things, does that make you more likely to vote for her? And not a single person raised their hand. So I think what Mehek is saying is so spot on. When you run out of ammunition because you don't have anything to sell to the American people, you immediately divert to attacking your opponent. And it doesn't seem like it is working for Kamala Harris. It's the part of politics that I think is really frustrating and really gross. And it's the reason that you probably felt nervous, by the way, Jessica, to come out and even announce publicly that you supported Donald Trump, because nobody wants to be labeled or attacked in this way. But if this is what the person at the top, Kamala Harris, is doing with, by the way, no proof, no basis of anything. There was that absolutely slanderous article from The Atlantic that had, anonymous sources released last week to say Donald Trump's a bad guy. This does not seem to be working with voters out there, Jessica. Why do you think that people are not responding whenever Kamala Harris calls Donald Trump a fascist or Hitler?
Because it's all they ever say, and people are tired of hearing it. It reminds me of, I'm a mom, you're a mom. When your kid comes to you and says, like, I don't like them, they're ugly or whatever. And you're like, why? What did they do? And they can't say anything that they did. They're ugly and stupid, or, it's just name calling. And it's based on nothing. It's based on emotion. And so I think that they're just trying to play to people's emotions. So maybe they are getting those. And there are some in my comment section from my post yesterday that they are name calling. He's a fascist. He's a racist. He's, I had people saying, what are you going to do because you and your kids and your husband aren't white? And I'm like,
oh my God.
But I'm like, wait a minute, my husband is white. So I don't know what saying about my husband is super weird.
Well, he's the worst. If he's a white man, forget it. He got the worst of the worst there.
The worst. So if I said that, they would be like, you married the worst person and now your kids are half white. And they say that I'm putting a target on my kids' heads and my head because we're not white, and all these really hateful things. And I expected it, but I didn't know, I guess, how bad and like how personal they would be poking at me. But again, it's all empty name calling because they have nothing to base this on.
Mm-hmm. Well, consider it a badge of honor, Jessica. Welcome to the party. now that you're here. It's a good time. And you know what? You can feel good and probably sleep well at night because you know you're doing the right thing and you're standing up for your values and really saying what's on your heart. And I think that that's important. I think that anytime in America we're afraid to express our opinions on things, it's so antithetical to who our country is, who we're supposed to be as Americans and how our country was founded. So good for you for doing it. That CNN town hall, I referenced, by the way, that Anderson Cooper town hall. Turns out, Mehek, this was kind of funny to me. You know, they try to set things up for Kamala to really make sure that she's coddled. Everything's got to be pre-planned, preset. You don't want any surprises for her. She can't take anything out of left field. Like, got to keep it all together for her. They did this town hall, and in a town hall, you know, you're supposed to be, they advertise it as independent voters. These are people who haven't decided how they're voting. Turns out one of the people who asked her a question is like a lifelong Democrat, a Democrat donor at that. They allowed this woman to ask a question. And then there was another town hall she did last week with Maria Shriver. You guys probably saw this, where some person in the audience was like, so wait, when do we get to ask the questions? And Maria Shriver's like, oh, no, like, honey, you don't get to ask the questions. We've already determined all the questions already. But we hope, what did she say? We hope we will ask some of the things that might be in your head. This is how bad it's gotten. They can't even chance anything. An audience member who probably waited a long time to come there and sit and possibly ask Kamala Harris a question. Mehek, she can't be trusted to do those sorts of things. Do not put her in a situation like that.
Well, Kamala Harris can't be trusted, but neither can CNN apparently, because they don't know how to vet people and ensure that they're truly independent voters that are coming there and asking questions. But I do have to point out that left-wing political science professor walked out. She was deeply disappointed in Kamala Harris's policy questions and responses, and she's not sure if she's voting for Kamala Harris or an independent. So even that left-wing political science professor is scratching her head. Everything is staged about the Democrat Party and what Kamala Harris stands for. The fact that audience can't engage with Kamala Harris, the fact that you can't even ask one single question without it's Donald Trump's fault, tells you everything you need to know. We have lived 4 years of an American nightmare, and the only way to get out of this is not to give her a job promotion, but to fire her and make sure she never enters politics again, because she destroyed California, and now she's trying to trailblaze and destroy the rest of the country. And this is all because of the media. And Laura, I have to believe it's not only CNN. There's so many, even the Washington Post and other places where people are stopping to listen and read because they know that they're being fed a lot of BS and lies. We're tired of it.
Yeah, well, even speaking of the Washington Post won't endorse a candidate. We know they always endorse the Democrats. The LA Times won't endorse a candidate. My favorite part is how all of these super woke, like Hollywood celebrities, and I mean, I use that term loosely, celebrities, these Hollywood people are like, we're going to end I've had a subscription to the LA Times for my entire life. That's it. I'm done with it. Like, get a hold of yourself. All right. Just grow a pair. Calm down. It's ridiculous. They're just, anything that happens, everybody just goes into a full meltdown. But while we're out there on the West Coast, you brought up California. Let me talk about Portland State University. If you remember, Jessica, Portland State University was famous for allowing those Hamas supporters, they were Antifa members, I think, actually, back in the spring, like in May or sometime around there, to take over their library on campus and occupy it. If you remember, they were just kind of like, oh, well, we can't do anything. They've got to have their ability. Most of those people, by the way, weren't even students. I think it turns out cost like $1 million in damage to the university, to the library. It was disgraceful. They spray painted everything and upended everything, and just things were destroyed inside this library. And the library, I still do not think is open right now. Well, turns out, Jessica, they're going to have to lay off about 100 faculty members. And why is that? It's because they don't have the money to pay them, because their enrollments have decreased significantly. I can't imagine, Jessica, why anybody wouldn't want to attend Portland State University when they allow antics like this on campus. Can you figure it out?
No, gosh, I have no idea. I did see that a police officer, or maybe it was the police chief, was also injured while they were trying to, go in and stop the violence. And these Antifa members blocked the ambulance so he couldn't get care. And it's kind of like, well, what do you expect? Your city was all about defund the police. And, so no, they're not going to let an ambulance come in to save a police officer who was trying to stop their protest or whatever they were doing. Portland actually reminds me a lot of Los Angeles. It's kind of like the pit of despair where criminals run rampant and they can do anything, and maybe they'll go to jail for a day, but then they'll, be let go and out on the street again. So no, I can't imagine why no one would want to go there.
Yeah, Mehek, would you want to send your child to this fantastic Portland State University? I mean, it's bad enough that like you send your kid to these places where they're probably fully indoctrinated almost immediately, but then to send them to a place like this, I'm sure that's become a problem. But this to me is just another example of go woke, go broke. This is the kind of response that is going to happen whenever you do dumb things and you allow stupid things to happen to your campus, to your business, whatever it is. Whenever you follow suit with this woke ideology, I'm not surprised you go broke. Donald Trump said it himself.
We've had woke ideology in higher education for so long, Laura. I think COVID is what truly exposed it. And now these people are coming and blocking Jewish students access to class. Professors are holding grudges against conservative students. Jonathan Turley just came out with a piece on the Hill where he specifically said, as Kamala Harris is declining in polls, unanimity is with professors. And this is shocking today because basically what he's telling us is the liberal professors are about 90% of our universities and institutions. And you're constantly seeing now parents like you and me and so many across the country scratching our heads and saying, why are we paying increased tuition? We want freedom of thought today. We don't want institutionalized Democrats coming out when we send our kids in to learn. So this doesn't surprise me, but it's not only Portland. There's so many schools that are bleeding money. And I hope when we win Congress and the entire Senate, we start taking funds from every single institution because we're giving billions to these schools that allowed for Jewish students to be tormented, that allowed for us to continue to push indoctrination instead of allowing for kids to truly think. So this is just the beginning. We need a revolution in education that allows for parents to have access to school choice. There are children, not the governments. This has to stop.
You know what? I feel like what you're saying is what we're going to see happen in a second term with Donald Trump in the White House, Mehek. And I feel very hopeful about things. Right now, we are exactly a week. We're 7 days away from this election. I know everybody knows how important this is, but I would like for each of you to maybe give just a closing statement here, because next week will be election day whenever I do this show. And we've got 1 week to get people out to vote. I constantly talk about how important voting is, and vote early. Don't wait a week from now to go vote, ladies and gentlemen. You never know what could happen. We've seen great early voting numbers for Republicans. We have broken records around the country. Get out and vote. Don't go vote alone. We cannot leave this to chance. So, Jessica, maybe you can share with the audience why you are a Trump supporter and why you decided to be so, vocal about it at this point. And what would you say to people who might be on the fence or might say, I'm going to sit out this election?
Listen, it was so scary for me to post on social media yesterday, as ridiculous as that sounds. And it was even scary for me to come out with you ladies the other day in Georgia. I just thought it is too important to not come out and to not post about it and to not do it. This election is so important, as we've heard Elon Musk talk about. I want my kids to grow up in an America that is safe and free and strong, and great, as Donald Trump is going to make it again. I'm tired of feeling unsafe. I told you I grew up in California, lived there my entire life, and sadly had to leave because it's not what it was before. And like I said the other day, I had an option to move. I don't know if Donald Trump doesn't win, they're going to try to California our United States of America. And I am not for that. And I know that a lot of Americans are not for that because so many of us Californians had to leave a state that we love. And if this happens to America, there's nowhere to go. This is such an important election. We have to get out. We have to get out and vote early, vote now.
Jessica, I agree with that. Mehek, close us out here. I hope people learned their lesson in 2020. I hope you learned that you have to, if you don't go vote, then don't complain about anything. Don't come for any of us and say, oh, this is bad. No, get out and vote and do it now. And I want to also say before you answer, Mehek, we have worked so hard at the RNC to make sure that we have election integrity in this election. We want to reestablish trust in our electoral process. We have worked so hard. We've trained 230,000 people to be poll watchers, poll workers, and legal experts all over this country. We have filed lawsuit after lawsuit. Anytime, by the way, during early voting, we have seen an issue and people send them to me all day long. I get them all. We check them all out. We make sure the right thing happens. Some of them have just been, fake or nothing to worry about. Some of them have actually required us to, address, and we address them and we deal with it in that moment. So get out and vote because your vote matters and your vote counts. Mehek, what do you think?
Look, Laura, I said this to you and a group when I traveled with you and the ladies in pink. I was born in India, but made in America. My dad came to this country with $30 in his pocket, 7 years, worked 3 jobs so that I could have an opportunity, my brother and I. It's all about opportunity in America. You get what you have the courage to seek. And today I'm seeing the American dream being given for free. And we know there's always a cost. And today the cost is American lives. Our economy is devastated. Our open border crisis is continuing. The greatest honor for my father was not only providing opportunities, but meeting President Trump. My greatest honor is being President Trump's surrogate. And I'm out there urging people today, if you believe in the American dream, because Kamala Harris believes it's dead, but if you believe in the American dream, if you believe your life was better under President Trump, then give him 4 more years because he will reset our country for American greatness. But it's going to take more than 4 years. So he needs to start the reset so we can have 12 years of prosperity. I'm looking at the future for you, me, and everybody in this country. It's not about Republicans and Democrats today. It's about all of us. And President Trump is truly the path to unity. So I urge everybody to vote early, and also vote with a friend or a family member. We have to make a plan and finish strong.
Okay, let's make it too big to rig, ladies. Jessica, thanks for joining us for the first time. We really appreciate it. Great job. You were awesome. And Mehek, as always, we appreciate you. Ladies, I'll see you out there on the trail. We got 7 more days to close this thing down and make sure we reelect Donald Trump and make sure he's our 47th president. So Jessica and Mehek, thank you both. And to everybody at home, as always, thanks for joining us. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, and follow. We'll see you back here next time for more of The Right View.
And I won't back down. Hey, baby, there ain't no easy way out.
Nothing is worse than being on a phone call that drops. Nothing is worse than trying to text someone and you can't reach them because your phone is out of service range. And nothing is worse than supporting these major corporations and companies who don't support us. That is why I love Patriot Mobile. They are America's only Christian conservative wireless network. They use every cell tower out there available to all networks so that they have the greatest 4G and 5G coverage nationwide, and they support the causes that are important to us as conservatives. If you go today to patriotmobile.com/Lara Trump and use the promo code Trump, you will get free activation today. Again, that is patriotmobile.com/Lara Trump. The promo code is Trump for free activation so that you can get a great cell plan and feel good about doing it.